Get the right systems in place before you start, if possible, or as soon as you can if you've started. This is something which I have really learnt the hard way over the years, because I think I'm actually quite good on the techie stuff. I'm not against the techie stuff, I'm not a technophobe. My son-in-law-to-be calls me an old boomer, which I take offence at. I mean, it's literally true, but by that he's really talking about the fact that he thinks, well, I don't really know anything. So when I pick up the TV remote, he's like breaking out in a sweat in case I do something wrong. But I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right with this stuff. But when I started, because I am so old, because I've been in property such a long time, all the stuff which you now have and probably take for granted, I didn't have. I mean, I started in property before there was even an Amazon, before there was a Google. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine life before Google or Amazon? You're all too young. You can't imagine that, can you? So I started off thinking I was being really cutting edge by developing a whole load of like Excel spreadsheets to keep all my data and to do all my management and bookkeeping and all that kind of stuff. And I'm ashamed, kind of, to say that I still do. I still do. Why? Because I got to the stage where the portfolio it seemed so sizable that the idea of putting all that data into a new system, it just makes me feel tired before I start. So I've never done it. But if I could, and one day I might have to, because HMRC want us to go digital and all that kind of nonsense, don't they? At the moment, my accountant isn't giving me a hard time about that. I suspect that's because actually it's my accountant who's digital and they're doing it for me, so I've kind of outsourced it. But they'd probably prefer me to be a bit more digital rather than always sending them all these spreadsheets. But if I could now, I would certainly jump on something like Xero for the bookkeeping rather than doing it on an Excel spreadsheet. I would love to have some kind of sort of management system like Landlord Vision or Arthur Online or something of that ilk. That would be fantastic, because then you can monitor the properties individually quite easily. Just click a few buttons, you can see all the costs and all the income and all this kind of stuff and work out the return on that property over the last 5 years and all that kind of neat stuff, which you could do. And maybe one day I'll get there, who knows? I'm getting on a bit now, so it probably doesn't really matter. Now I'm just sort of conserving time, do you know what I mean? So I enjoy every minute, not worry about all that sort of stuff, because you know, you get to an age where you think you don't know how much longer you've got, do you? Suddenly gets to you. I've had a significant birthday, you know. It makes you think, doesn't it, when you have a significant birthday? 40. Hey? 40. That's very kind of you, Michael. Very kind of you. You weren't sitting so near the front. I'd say, come down the front and sit nearer. That is very kind of you. But yeah, I would really think about this. So if you're a bit like me and you haven't got your system sorted, if you know what your strategy is going to be, get the systems in place for that strategy so that you don't have to do what I'm doing and try and play catch up 20 years later. Because it's hard work and it probably will never happen. I hope you found this video useful and informative, and if you did, then please come over to my website www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, where you'll find loads more great property related resources, including free special reports to download and my best-selling series of ebooks, which includes the Successful Property Renovators Workshop, 63 common defects in investment property and how to spot them. And if you're just starting out in property, or if you want to grow your portfolio, you may be particularly interested in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, in which I'll take you through exactly how I started and built my property portfolio, starting literally with none of my own money, and how I built a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. And that was starting from scratch. I'll take you through everything that I did right so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'll also show you everything that I did wrong so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made and so that you can progress in property and be far more successful far more quickly than I ever was. And this is based upon my own real life experience, and it took me about 4 years to actually work out how to do property investing properly. But in the 200 pages in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you all of that 4 years knowledge condensed down so that you can use it immediately. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.